What's good, everyone? Today I'm joined with a very special guest. Say what's up.
F is for fire that burns down the whole town. U is for
Oh my god.
uranium,
Anyway, bro,
bombs,
a
and
special
is
guest.
for no
No,
survivors.
shut up,
When
shut up, shut up, shut up. Anyway, yeah. If you didn't hear, the special guest is Six. Create a lot on the channel. Go check him out. He's just hit 51K. You know, big
Yes,
sub
sir.
goal. But
Oh my
today
God.
we're gonna be talking about what we think's gonna happen or what's in store for us for the future in Boruto. Now, with
Yeah,
chapter 75 got released, right?
yeah. Chapter
Yeah.
75. I think this is volume. This is the end of volume. What? 18.
Yeah, 18 or 17, whichever. But chapter 75, we get another like little glimpse into the future of Boruto. This time not as ahead as we did in chapter 1, but still Boruto looks a bit older. You know, things have clearly changed, but we basically get someone's POV, and it's the Chunin or Genin of the Leaf, Shikadai, Chocho, and Inojin, and a bunch of Jonin looking at what seems to be Boruto, right? Or could it be implied to be Boruto? And he says, "You, that just ain't what a friend does, you here." Now, this could be interpreted two ways. Six has his own interpretation. What is this, Six?
So I was basically finding or trying to find multiple ways to interpret this because I think it's really unclear who they're talking to and whose point of view we're getting, or if all these panels we see are of one specific person's point of view. So I was thinking if they're talking to Kawaki, it would be weird, or what Troy brought up was it would be weird for Shikadai to call Kawaki a friend, considering they're not really friends like that. But then I was thinking, okay, what if he's saying to Kawaki, that's just not what a friend does, because Kawaki is saying Boruto is his friend. But then that doesn't really make sense either, because Kawaki and Boruto don't call each other friends. They call each other brothers, at least more often than not. So I really don't know who he's talking to. The last thing I could get to is like, okay, who would he be talking to? Who would be calling a friend? Is Boruto. And he's saying, Boruto, that's not what a friend does. Because maybe they're trying to stop Boruto from going after Kawaki again because of what happened last time. And Boruto is saying that he'll beat them all up to go past them. And Shikadai is like, that's not what a friend does.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Now, I kind of disagree with Six's interpretation, but his interpretation does make a lot more sense when you look at what Momoshiki says throughout this chapter. He basically implies that him and Boruto's consciousness are kind of merging, and Boruto's kind of getting influenced by his thoughts. He can hear Momo's thoughts more. Momo's voice is like echoing through his head. So maybe if you say at this point in time it echoes more, maybe they've completely merged, and Borishiki is basically like now the dominant personality or dominates over the body. That kind of is a motive for him to change on the village all of a sudden. But if you do read this as Kawaki being the enemy, because in the very next panel we see Kawaki with his Karma 2 transformation, a partially transformed arm, and blood on its face, while Mitsuki saying, "You have managed to truly anger me." And Saurada also says, "Found him over there." Now Mitsuki usually only really cares for Boruto in like a platonic way, of course, just kind of like his best friend or who he likes the most out of the group, and that would be the only thing that I can think would anger Mitsuki to unleash Sage Mode nonetheless. I'm pretty sure Sage Mode is like uncontrolled. It kind of destroys his body as well. So this body destroying technique he unleashes because Kawaki has now seemingly killed his friend or gravely injured his friend.
Yeah. This will kind of tie back into what I was mentioning earlier about how we don't know exactly whose point of view all these panels are from. Another thing I want to point out is we don't even know if all of these panels are in chronological order. Like if these events are happening one after another, or if we're just seeing random glimpses into the future every now and then. One of them is Sarada calling out to Mitsuki that she found him over here. Whoever him is, it could be Boruto, could be Kawaki's body. Another way to read this is she's saying Mitsuki because Mitsuki is who she found, and she's yelling out to her teammates, "Found him over here." Because the second panel, Mitsuki's fighting someone. Maybe whoever Mitsuki was fighting bodied him, left him by a tree or whatever. Sarada's running by and sees him. Another way to look at what Mitsuki's saying, "You've truly managed to anger me," is like what Troy said earlier with Momoshiki and Boruto's thoughts being clouded or merging together. If Boruto is saying some out-of-pocket things, maybe getting Mitsuki riled up because he's about to go pursue Kawaki or something like that, that Mitsuki's talking to Boruto, and Mitsuki knows, well, you know, only way I can stop Boruto, being how powerful he is to go into Sage Mode.
taking in all of that, the only real thing I think goes really against this being the Boruto is what we see in chapter 1. In chapter 1, it definitely implies that Kawaki is the villain. We see Boruto with Sasuke's sword and cloak, implying that he's been training with him and like they were on good terms.
Not his cloak. Not his cloak.
Oh, it wasn't his cloak?
No, his cloak, no. The inside of Boruto's cloak is red. The inside of Sasuke's cloak is purple. Well, so it's not Sasuke's cloak.
Well, he does have his sword, though, at least. So that implies that he has some type of memento from, like, his sensei. You know, we see in the Momo fight, like, it's kind of... He admires Sasuke, wants to be a sensei. Kawaki's also standing over saying he's gonna send Boruto to where he sent the Hokage, implying that he did something to Naruto. So it's definitely looking like Kawaki's gonna be the villain based on that. But again, all of that could also be on the flip side. It could be that Boruto maybe killed Sasuke and took his sword, and Kawaki's just like trying to protect the village and all the smoke is coming from Boruto. But again, the only thing that goes against that is, why would Kawaki say he's sending Boruto to where the Hokage is? That's the part that kind of doesn't make sense.
So the thing about that is, we do know that Kawaki always wants to keep Naruto safe, and I'd imagine he wants to keep Boruto safe as well. So maybe there's something to do with the village corruption, and Kawaki didn't think the village was properly protecting Naruto, so he sent Naruto away somewhere people couldn't reach him. But the thing about that is, if he did it with space-time ninjutsu, Boruto should be able to get there too. Yeah. They both have the same type of space-time ninjutsu travel. Like, so that's a bit weird. It's really hard to speculate where Kawaki could have sent Boruto.
The thing that really makes you think the most is he sent the Hokage somewhere. He's fighting Boruto, right? What makes me lead to believe that he would not protect Boruto is how even Momoshiki is kind of afraid of Kawaki. Kawaki now has this resolve to kill Boruto whenever he gets out of control. Momo's like, don't let Kawaki notice that my thoughts are clouding your judgment. He might attack. He doesn't want to deal with that. In one of the recent chapters post-Code fight, he literally kills Boruto as well. Kawaki already in these chapters has the resolve to kill Boruto, so I doubt he would try to protect him anymore.
Bro, I'm glad you bring that up, because it leads right into what I was gonna say. I think the last panel we see here, because the page where Kawaki's looking down at whoever with blood on his face, is the last panel we get to see of this supposed future. Kawaki still looks fairly young, so this moment might come very, very soon, even within the next few chapters. And we'll talk about like the future Boruto volume-wise and like as a series aside from this time skip stuff in a second. But the blood on Kawaki's face, I think this might be where we get to see Boruto finally get his scar. It's not out of the question that Kawashiki could body Borushiki or just true essence Boruto, if you want to take it to that level. Either way, it's not out the question he could beat him. Momo doesn't want to fight with Kawaki again. You could say, oh, maybe he just doesn't want to fight. But at the same time, it kind of also implies that maybe Momo thought Kawaki was a little bit above him in the fight that they actually had, or at least he was getting the upper hand towards the end, which definitely isn't out of the question. So I think that towards the end there, where Kawaki's got the blood on his face, might be him slashing out Boruto's Byakugan, or at least trying to suppress his Momo side. Because that's what Boruto does as well. Whenever Boruto is suppressing, whenever Momo comes out, he's covering his right eye.
Something kind of like a different topic than this, but people like to think Boruto is going in the direction of becoming the Otsutsuki god or becoming like that powerful. I kind of want to tell you why I don't think that theory kind of holds anything. We see that the only people who actually want to become like the Otsutsuki god and the transcendent beings are pure Otsutsukis. And once they do become these pure Otsutsuki gods or whatever, they no longer have any like ulterior motives or evil motives. They no longer want to destroy anything. They just exist somewhere else. I don't think Boruto wants to do that. Momoshiki can no longer reincarnate, so I don't think he's gonna want Boruto to transcend either. And Kawaki only seems to want to protect Naruto. That literally seems to be his only motive. Code potentially might try to reach his level, but I don't think Code is implied to be anything in the future, so I don't think he's gonna achieve that either. So this is just for a little sub theory. I don't think Boruto's headed that way either.
Yeah. So really, with the time skip thing or with the future thing, it might turn out a lot different than what most people were thinking it would turn out as, because as we know, it's been stated that they want to wrap Boruto up within 30 volumes. And with this chapter being the end of volume 18, we've only got 12 volumes left, if even. Because they
Now,
said they want to wrap it up within 30. So it
yeah,
might be even less than that. So
you know, 128.
at max, we have 48 chapters of Boruto left. It's a little bit over half of what we already have.
Now,
So Boruto might not be that much
yeah.
longer.
Now you to kind of go like to kind of maybe say it might be more than 30 volumes. You can kind of say where it switch writers, maybe intentions changed because you know Kishimoto came in and Ikimoto's no longer there. But you know, just saying the original statement is they want to wrap it up within 30 volumes. If Kishimoto changes that, whatever. But using only that, yeah, we roughly have a little under half the amount of chapters left, and they have so much to do. Boruto literally has to grow physically as well. Now, a time skip can save that, but a lot of events has to transpire for it to make sense.
Basically saying the time skip might not be a time skip. We might gradually just get to that point.
Yeah.
Like obviously we're not gonna see day-to-day life all the time, but I'm saying it might not be a major jump like everyone's thinking.
Yeah, like everyone's thinking it's gonna be like 2 years or 3 years. Nah, we might not get that.
Yeah, like it might be 6 months. Who knows? Like we might get a bunch of like 2-month time skips in the Boruto chapters, or I don't know.
They're
However
also
long
like
it goes on.
100% Otsutsuki now, so maybe they can like grow, their bodies can grow faster or something like that. So it's like maybe the physical appearance is not really reflective of their literal age. Maybe it's like some Otsutsukification or something.
Yeah, I mean that too. We also have no idea how old Boruto and Kawaki are in the first chapter. Like people speculate, oh, it's teen Boruto because like look at him. But I mean, what if Boruto just hit like a growth spurt or something like that?
He is like he completely changed genetically.
Kawaki also hasn't gotten his new tattoo. For those who don't know, Kawaki in chapter 1, on the cover of chapter 1, we get to see another image of future Kawaki. He's in base, he doesn't have his karma. And instead of having the Roman numeral on his cheek like he does normally, which I think is 9, he has instead a little dagger. So there's things we haven't gotten to see yet that, you know, could make for interesting plots in the future.
Another thing about the future of Boruto that people don't really understand, or people can't seem to disagree, or can't seem to agree, my bad, but is Sasuke dead? Boruto has his sword, and like Six said earlier, he does not have the cloak. That's a common misconception. But I personally think him having his sword does not have to mean that he's dead. Sasuke could have passed this down as a memento. Maybe they're like retired since they can't really fight that well anymore. Like the threats seem to be very
that's what I was thinking.
Yeah, the threats are far surpassed Sasuke and Naruto because they no longer have their aces. He doesn't have his Rinnegan. Naruto has his Kurama. They can't really do anything. Naruto has a village to run and he has a family.
Sasuke also might lose another arm, or he might lose his leg. He like anything could happen to where Sasuke just can't combat anymore. And he gives the sword to Boruto.
Boruto even like implies at the beginning chapters, like you could say implication of him saying, yeah, this is my story, except for a little bit at the beginning. It's like saying maybe Naruto and Sasuke died, but that could just very well mean they retire. That's why it's his story for the rest. They literally retire and are out of the story.
We also don't know where Sarada or Mitsuki is at this point. The only people around in this, the entirety of this like Boruto future destruction place, the village is trashed. The only people around are Kawaki and Boruto. No idea about anyone else.
And I know people like to think that Boruto is pretty grim, but I doubt it is as grim as the Kawaki or Boruto literally killing everyone in the cast. Because it's like, what do you have left to fight for? Regardless of who you think is on the good side, they are fighting for something. Something is still there to fight for. So I doubt Sarada and Michi and all of them are just dead. That's still a kind of question in the air. That's like all the directions I think Boruto could possibly head in the future. It's really not that many. I think they've made at least as clear as possible what their intentions are with this series and what route it's gonna go. With that being said, sub to 6. Again, just hit 51K. Congratulations. Sub to me, like, comment, you know, and goodbye.